finally found the love of her life.
I know you're in there, just come on out!
And she wasn't going to share him with anyone else.
Lisa! You have a death wish? Stay away from him, alright? Stay away!
A drive through southern Michigan takes you past rolling cornfields and quiet Amish communities. It's a peaceful place, the heartland of America. But beneath the wholesome facade, something is rotten to the core. 30-year-old Lori Watts grew up around here in the small town of Montville. She's always loved the great outdoors, so when she met Gary Knapp, she knew he was the one.
Oh, we used to love to go fishing.
I love it here.
Yeah, me too.
And it was kind of competition on who could get the biggest bass. When I first met him, Gary was a friend. Sometimes I just needed somebody to talk to. I was having a rough divorce. He kind of turned into my protector, is what he did.
How many are you gonna catch today?
Probably more than you.
Oh, yeah. See about that.
I've already caught the best one.
Yeah, I fell in love with Gary. He was kind, he was considerate, he was sexy, and he could turn on the charm so easy. He just seemed to know what to say.
Shortly after they started dating, they get married. And this time, Lori vows it's a union that will last. But even in their happiness, there are some days when Gary can't seem to shake the scars of his past.
His father had died when he was a younger boy. Gary was a little upset about that because he was supposed to go live with his father the summer that his father died. And he didn't get that chance. He kept a lot of that built up inside. When he come to talking about that, he would become distant. It was like it was eating at him.
You okay, babe?
Yeah. Give me a kiss.
Both long-haul truck drivers, Gary and Lori often spend days apart while they're on the road.
When you be back,
Thursday.
I'll be waiting.
Bye.
Be good.
Lori knows all too well what temptations lie on the road ahead.
Rule of thumb is most truck drivers will have flings. Not all of them, but I've been out there on the highway, and drivers get lonely. Drivers see a way to play around and never get caught.
But Lori believes what they have is too good to risk losing. Unfortunately, her handsome husband is not a one-woman man. And her rival is a lot closer to home than she knows. Gary's best friend, Ron Hostetter, lives 20 minutes down the road in Elkhart, Indiana.
Ron was employed as a truck driver for a company called Maxi Movers and worked with Gary Knapp.
I cannot figure out the transmission on that Bronco. You should have me take a look at it. Well, you think you're better than me? I can do better than most, my friend. Who do you think you are? Mr. Fix-It? Gary, you remember my brother-in-law? Yeah, Dale, right? How you doing? Hey, good to see you. Thanks.
Enough to eat.
Takes a lot to fill me up, but the food was great.
I don't know how you manage with Lori away so much. You know, I should come over while she's gone and cook you a home-cooked meal.
Well, there would be times when we'd be at Ron and Lisa's, and you'd catch Lisa and Gary just kind of working their way away from everybody. Gary'd usually be looking down at her with a smile, and Lisa'd be looking up at him just chuckling and grinning ear to ear, puppy dog eyes. And if I would walk up near them,
Hey, guys.
they would just kind of stop the conversation.
I was just going to get some more burgers out of the kitchen in the house. What's going on with you and Lisa?
Nothing. Like, relax. She's just a flirt. Right? I love you.
Well, she's got good taste in men. I'll give her that much.
After 3 years of marriage, Lori believes that she and Gary are solid. Until one Saturday afternoon, when they lend a hand with a septic tank job for Lisa's dad.
We were on a job site, and the bulldozer needed fuel.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go get some gas. The bulldozer.
Oh, I'll come with you. There's some at my dad's house in the above ground tank. It'll only take about 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's go.
That 10-minute trip took 45 minutes to an hour. Me, Ron, just kept waiting on them to come back.
Sure taking their time. They go over in the next county or what?
Maybe something happened to him. Go check.
Give them 10 more minutes.
Hey, sorry, it took a little bit longer than expected.
Sorry if I worried you guys, but we got the diesel.
Gary was just grinning from ear to ear. You could just see on his face he had conquered him another one. I cared for Gary. I cared for him a lot. But I didn't want any person in my life that didn't want me 100%.
What the hell is wrong with you? You think I'm stupid or what? Right in front of my face!
How do you know it's true? Did you see me? No.
He made the comment several times. If he hadn't been caught, then there wasn't any reason to have a divorce. It was just my imagination.
Until you
Catch me, if you can, and then it's over. It hurt.
Lori takes his bait, vowing she'll catch him red-handed. But she doesn't know the half of it. Lisa isn't the only woman Gary's sleeping with. 24-year-old Carol Summey works at the same company as Gary's mother. And when Carol meets Gary, the attraction is so strong, even his wedding ring doesn't stop them.
How much time you got?
As long as it takes.
Looks like you're staying all night then.
Carol gravitated more towards the bad boy, the more rugged type of individual that seemed to have a greater interest for her, a pull, if you will.
Just like Lori, Carol is a local girl who grew up working on her parents' successful Christmas tree farm.
So a lot of their time in the summer was spent cultivating and feeding the trees.
Her family and friends like to hunt, fish, do a lot of outdoorsy things. Very adventurous.
Need some help with that?
Been doing this since I was a kid.
And Carol feels she's found a kindred free spirit in Gary.
I would see Carol interested in guys who were outdoorsy, who shot from the hip. That's how she grew up, so that's what she felt more comfortable being with.
As Carol and Gary get more deeply involved, Lori knows her husband is playing her for a fool.
Hey, babe, I'm gonna take these eggs over to my mom's.
Okay. Guess I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And in November of 1994, Lori seizes her chance to catch him in the act.
I walked over to Carol's house. The door was open, and I could hear them having sex in the bedroom. So I walked in, and I just stood there, and they really didn't hear me.
Excuse me. Oh my God, Gary, does she have a gun?
Lori Watts has just discovered her husband Gary in bed with his lover, Carol Summey.
Excuse me.
She was grabbing blankets, and he was grabbing his pants, trying to jump into them.
Oh my God, Gary, does she have a gun? What's she gonna do?
Shut up! It's a misunderstanding. Just stay calm.
I heard Carol ask him, did he think I had a gun?
I'll be standing outside if you could just come talk to me a minute.
Gary come walking out, he didn't have his shoes on, he just had his pants on. And he was full of sweat.
You said if I caught you, we could get a divorce. No quarrel.
Yeah, I said that.
Well, Jane, you're caught.
A few months later, Lori and Gary are divorced. With his wife and his former lover now out of his life, Gary walks down the aisle with Carol on Valentine's Day in 1995.
Carol loved Gary very much.
From what I understand, she was happy to be married.
Morning, gorgeous.
Good morning, Ansel.
And Gary seems to have finally cleaned up his act for Carol.
Gary was very loving. Oh, he was good to her.
But while the newlyweds build their life together, Lisa Hustetter, the other woman, isn't ready to give up her claim on Gary.
I very much believe that Lisa was so in love with Gary that she wanted Gary all to herself.
She even confesses her feelings to the most unlikely person.
Thank you for coming. You know, things are a little weird between us, but I really needed to talk to someone, and I think you know Gary best. Carol isn't right for him, right? She seems to think so. Carol doesn't treat him right. He deserves better. I'm better. He's actually happier with me because I care about him. You got Ron and the kids. Leave Gary be. I can't.
I kind of thought that Lisa was trying to stir something up, but I didn't know what she was trying to stir up.
What she was stirring was Gary, and it doesn't take much of it to get this player back in the game.
You got me going up North Wednesday.
I could come with you. If you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I'd love that.
Her husband, Ron, was a truck driver. He was on the road all the time.
Lisa was really focused on spending as much time as she could with Gary and was taking many trips to Grand Rapids, Michigan with him in his truck.
So he was kind of juggling Lisa and Carol around.
Then, 8 months into their marriage, the gig is up.
Carol found a love letter.
Dear Gary, being with you last night made me realize that we're meant to be. And once we're together forever, we'll be so happy. Your true love, Lisa.
I think Carol absolutely would have spoke her mind. I have no doubt about that.
What the hell is this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you've been cheating on me. You and Lisa, you ripped my heart out. How could you let this happen?
Gary ultimately did acknowledge that he had had somewhat of a sexual relationship with Lisa.
Carol asked Gary to end his relationship with Lisa.
Gary agrees, but he also claims it's not that simple.
I can't get the woman to leave me alone, all right? She's obsessed.
You can't stop her.
No.
Well, I'll stop her. I'll stop her right now. She is never gonna bother you ever again.
I believe she went directly to Lisa Hostetter's home to confront her.
I could probably see her taking a punch at Lisa and punching her in the nose.
Lisa! Lisa, answer the door! I know you're in there, just come on out. Lisa! Do you have a death wish? Stay away from him, alright? Stay away!
Not ready to leave it at that, Carol makes sure Lisa gets the message loud and clear.
Lisa, is that you? Stay away from my husband. Do you hear me? You know, if you were nicer to him, he wouldn't be crawling around. Don't test me, Lisa. I will do whatever it takes to keep my husband.
Lisa contended that Carol cussed her out and made a veiled threat regarding her children.
Do you hear me? Stay away from him. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Threatening to hurt the kids.
Lisa told Ron, her husband, that Carol was making threats towards her and specifically towards Lisa's children.
She's crazy. She thinks I'm after Gary. She's making up stories.
In Ron's case, he was completely manipulated, I believe. I'm sure he didn't know Lisa was having an affair with Gary.
She convinced him that their children were in danger.
We have to do something. She's out of control.
Let's call the cops.
The cops won't do nothing until it's too late. We have got to find a way to get her off our back.
Desperate to stop Carol, Lisa turns to the person she believes will be a natural ally, Gary's ex-wife, Lori.
I was sitting at the table and Ron was behind me, and I got an uncomfortable feeling.
I don't know what to do. You've got to help me. I need you to do something for me.
And I was like, what do you want me to do? And she went and got this little pistol. And she tried to hand it to me. I was like, why are you giving me that? I wouldn't touch it.
I don't want that. You've got friends.
Lisa wanted to know if any of my biker friends could put a scare into Carol. I got uneasy. When I started towards the door, Ron was standing behind me with a shotgun in his hand. I never seen that kind of a look on Ron's face. Never, ever.
Somebody's threatening my kids.
What are you talking about, Ron?
No one's gonna hurt my kids.
You have to help us do something.
And Lisa was just losing it. I was actually getting scared. I needed to get gone because these people had an issue, and there was 2 guns in that house.
But Lisa isn't the only one getting threatening phone calls.
Hello?
Why are you bothering Lisa?
What? Who is this?
He started getting into an argument with this mail caller.
Tell me who you are, you coward. Why don't you come over here and show your face?
You better calm down and stay away from Lisa.
Don't you dare call this house again.
If you don't back off, leave Lisa be. We're gonna party. Just you and me. You definitely don't want that.
Lisa Hostetter has no intention of ending her illicit affair with Carol's husband, Gary Knapp.
Lisa, answer the door!
But now that Carol has discovered her secret, Lisa is terrified that Carol will come after her and her family. And when Carol gets threatening phone calls from a mysterious man, she starts carrying a gun wherever she goes. Both women say they are in fear for their lives, but only one of them is right. "9:30 p.m. 911 dispatch receives a call.
A car had struck a house, and Medical personnel were dispatched as well as the police. And when the police arrived, they felt they were dealing with a traffic crash.
Sitting in the driver's seat is Carol Knapp.
I have an injured woman in her early 30s. Looks like she's still breathing.
But this was no ordinary traffic accident.
They determined that she actually had what appeared to be a gunshot wound in her upper left shoulder.
Stay with us, miss. Her heart was still pumping. Deep breath. She still had a pulse and slight breath. But she died very shortly after that.
Carol was my only daughter. I was so devastated, but so confused at the same time. It's like, how could this happen?
That same night, the homicide investigation kicks into gear.
I found some broken glass about a half-mile away.
Glass that appears to match the shattered window on Carol's car.
I think this is where she was shot.
Investigators believe Carol made one last desperate move to survive.
She drove the car about 1/10 of a mile further down the road, and then she went off the road into a driveway of a private home.
Within 30 minutes of finding Carol, officers are on her doorstep looking to speak with her husband, Gary Knapp.
And the house is dark, and they don't know when anyone's there or not. And then Gary Knapp shows up. Before the officers even had a chance to ask him anything, the first words out of his mouth were,
What do you think I did to my wife? What do you mean?
Gary explains that Carol worked a night shift in a manufacturing plant. She left for her job shortly before 9 that night.
She asked me to call her at work to make sure she got there okay, so I did, and they told me she never showed up.
So I became worried about her. Gary Knapp appeared nervous.
he was very aloof, very distant.
What happened to her?
She's dead. She was murdered, I'm sorry.
Gary tells police that Carol has the couple's only car. Worried, and with no other way to look for her, he's been walking around the neighborhood for the past hour. Just then, someone else appears.
What's going on? Gary, why are you talking to the police?
Carol's dead.
What? Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
Can we speak to you for a moment?
My friend's wife just died. I need to be with him right now.
Lisa ostensibly had gone there to bring a vehicle to Gary so he could go look for his wife.
He needed the car, so he called me.
There was a phone call. We documented there was a phone call from Gary to Lisa's house. We called and said, Lisa, will you bring me a vehicle? I only have one running vehicle and Carol's driving it.
And where were you tonight?
I was home with my family all night. And Gary called and I rushed right over.
But Lisa's not done being helpful.
You should speak to Lori Watts. She was married to Gary before Carol.
The officers learned that marriage was ended when Gary and Carol had been caught in an intimate circumstance by Lori.
She wasn't too pleased that Carol stole her husband.
Lisa was trying to point the finger at Lori, that somehow Lori had conspired to kill Carol.
There's a lot I can tell you about Lori.
Early the next morning, police find Lori at work.
There was more than one allegation that Lori was very angry at Carol for having an affair with her husband.
Are you Lori Watts?
What's happening?
This your truck?
Yes?
Were you once married to Gary Knapp?
Yes. Why?
Did you see Carol Knapp last night?
Something happened.
She's dead.
All they would tell me was that Carol was murdered. and they wanted to know where I was, when I was, my route, what I did the night before, where I was at.
I was on a run to Detroit. I got back to town about 9 last night.
We'd like you to take a polygraph.
Right now?
Yes.
Then I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. They took me in a room and they hooked me up to the lie detectors test, and they informed me that I had a camera on me and there was a microphone recording everything that I said.
Did you catch Carol having an affair with your husband, Gary?
Yes.
Did you divorce your husband because of that affair?
Yes.
Are you having an affair with Lisa's husband, Ron?
No.
While investigating the murder of Carol Knapp, detectives asked Gary's ex-wife, Lori Watts, to take a polygraph test.
Are you having an affair with Lisa's husband, Ron?
No.
The officers learned that at some point there was some sort of an affair between Ron and Lori. The state police also learned that Lori was upset by losing her husband to Carol.
Broken-hearted, she briefly turned to her old friend, Ron Hostetter, for comfort.
Gary was an idiot to let you go.
He didn't really let me go. Carol stole him.
Nobody could ever steal me from you.
Do you do anything for me?
Anything.
One of the possibilities was that somehow Ron Hostetter and Lori had conspired to kill Carol in retribution for ending her marriage. So that was certainly a theory that was considered by the state police.
But Lori is quick to offer another explanation for the polygraph's result.
They said I lied. It wasn't a lie. They asked me if I was having an affair with Ron.
I did have an affair with Ron. But it's over.
I didn't lie because I wasn't still having an affair with Ron. I had had an affair. But my conscience was enough to trigger that polygraph that there's a lie there.
Despite Lori's one misstep, police are convinced she had nothing to do with Carol's murder. And besides, Lori tells police she and Carol made their peace with each other long ago.
She wanted to let me know that she was sorry that she hurt me. She didn't mean for me to get hurt like that. I accepted the apology and just told her to have a good life. I wouldn't bother her no more.
Lisa had sent police to Lori as a possible suspect. And now Lori sends them right back to Lisa.
Lisa's been acting real strangely lately. She started telling me this weird stuff about Carol.
I don't know what to do. You've got to help me.
Lisa wanted me to help eliminate the problem. She pulled a gun out of her kitchen drawer and put it right in front of me.
So investigators ask Lori to pay her old rival a visit.
I agreed, but I told them that somebody would have to be nearby. I didn't want to wear a wire. I said because the last time I had been to the house, they were really weird. If I was to be caught with a wire on me, what would they do?
You okay?
I'm fine. Just in shock like everyone else.
We were so worried that you were under arrest.
Say no, why would they arrest me?
I told them I had nothing to do with it.
They believed you?
Ron and Lisa started asking me 100 questions.
Do police have any leads? Are they talking to anybody else?
I don't know. I really don't know anything.
And then the questions kind of changed.
Didn't they know that you were angry with Carol? That Carol stole Gary from you?
Yeah, I got the feeling that Ron and Lisa wanted to know if I was going to be accused of the murder and if I was going to be charged with it.
You shouldn't talk to the cops. They just twist things around. We got us a lawyer right away so we don't have to talk to them.
Why would you need a lawyer? You're innocent.
Their look on their face was kind of like confused, or they was expecting more, or maybe I did know something and I'm not telling them. I only stayed there about 15 minutes. Ron and Lisa were asking so many questions I didn't want to even lie.
Armed with this new information, the cops zero in on Lisa, but they can't find anything to prove her involvement, or that of Carol's husband, Gary. At the time of the murder, Gary told police he was on his home phone calling Carol's work to see if she had made it there safely.
Gary did call her work and they said she wasn't there. We had telephone records to confirm it.
There's never enough evidence gathered initially to reach the level of charging someone.
Over the next 2 years, the investigation slowly grinds to a halt. But it isn't all bad news. At least not for Lisa. She gets what she's long wanted. She divorces Ron and begins dating Gary.
I want you to get Gary and Lisa Forever tattooed right here.
We'll see, babe. Maybe for Christmas.
3 years after Carol's death, life in Montville seems to have quieted down. Ron has remarried, and he and his new wife, Carrie, seem to have put the drama of extramarital affairs and murder investigations behind them.
You wanna grab us some beers?
Sounds good.
But secrets don't stay buried forever. And when they finally come out, they're likely to be explosive. 3 years after the murder of Carol Knapp, the cold case is about to be blown wide open.
It was a pipe bomb, and it was placed on the gas meter outside the home.
Inside, Ron Hostetter and his new wife Carrie are enjoying the last peaceful moments of life as they knew it.
What was that?
I don't know.
Luckily, the bomb only damages property, but Ron gets the message loud and clear.
He was scared. He was scared for his own life.
I never did this.
I can't believe this.
They want to keep me from talking.
About what?
Carol Knapp.
Ron, if you know anything about that, you need to tell me right now.
Yes, it's Detective Mike Scott.
I received a call from a woman that I'd never met before, and it was Carrie Dembski. And she said she had information that was relevant to this case.
About Carol Knapp? Yes, I'd like you to come in tomorrow. I want to meet you, yes.
But it's not Carrie who shows up.
Hi. I'm Ron Hostetter. I know who you are.
I wasn't expecting Ron. He hadn't talked to us since practically day one of the investigation.
I know some things about Carol's murder that you might want to know. I'm all ears.
Ron tells Detective Scott he believes he knows who planted the bomb.
There was a suspicion that Lisa Hostetter, Ron's ex-wife, was behind that explosion.
And he's sure it was an attempt to silence him. His story begins 3 years earlier. Just weeks before Carol's murder, Lisa and Ron met with Lisa's brother-in-law, Dale Smith.
Lisa and Carol had been at it for weeks. Lisa said Carol had been threatening her.
And Carol probably had.
But what Carol doesn't realize is that Lisa has no intention of giving up her lover, Gary Knapp. At first, Lisa enlists the help of a friend to scare Carol away.
Hello?
If you don't need Lisa B, we're gonna party. You definitely don't know that.
But in the weeks that follow, Lisa looks to do more than merely threaten Carol. And she turns to the people she trusts for help in carrying out her plan.
She's going to kill me.
Why is she so mad at you?
She's crazy. She thinks I'm after Gary. She's making up stories.
She told Dale and me that the kids were in danger.
You have to step up and protect us. Carol said she would make our kids disappear.
I believed her.
If you were any kind of man, you would protect us.
She started insisting that I man up, protect my family. She was really angry.
You have to do something.
Lisa is not the kind of person you can ignore.
If you can't protect us, I'm gonna take the kids and get the hell out of here. You will never see the kids or me ever again.
Lisa was the type of individual who was very conniving and manipulative and would do anything in her power to get someone to help her meet the goal that she desired.
Right, I'll help.
On one condition.
I told Lisa I wouldn't kill Carol.
So Lisa turns to another man for that. Her brother-in-law, Dale.
You're a man of action. A man who gets things done.
Your family never appreciated me.
You do now, Dale.
Why would Dale Smith get involved in this? I never understood why he wanted to join this fool's errand.
Lisa's plan is to set Lori up as the fall guy for Carol's murder. Over the next few weeks, Lori's trucking dispatcher starts receiving strange calls.
I was wondering if Lori Watts was scheduled to be back in town tomorrow. She's still on the road.
According to the secretary, Lisa was asking where I was headed
She'll be back on Friday night.
and when was my drop-off time.
Bye-bye.
At 9 p.m., Lori rolls back into Montville.
You ready, Ron?
Yep, we're here.
Good, I'll let you know when it's time.
Lisa waits for Carol to leave for her night shift.
Here she is. She's leaving her house. She's getting in her car. She's headed your way.
Okay, got it.
When Lisa notified Ron and Dale by CB radio that Carol was leaving, they waited for her to pass by.
We see Carol driving by.
On the move.
I drove the car. Dale was in the passenger seat. I pull up beside her. Dale leans out the window and shoots. I just wanted to protect my kids. That's what I thought I was doing.
I think Ron was remorseful about his involvement in this case.
I believed her at the time, but now I see what she is.
In 2000, Ron testifies in Dale's trial. Dale is convicted of first-degree murder and is sentenced to life in prison. 2 years later, Ron testifies against Lisa. She's convicted of second-degree murder and is serving a sentence of 25 to 50 years. Ron pleads to second-degree murder, and after serving 14 years in jail, he is released in 2014. Police find no evidence connecting Gary Knapp with a plot to murder Carol. However, in 2002, He's convicted of attempted murder in another case and is now serving 45 years. Carol Summey walked into a poisonous web of lust and betrayal and paid with her life.
Every day we go without Carol in our lives. I miss her sweet smile. I just miss that she's here. She should have been afforded a life like the rest of us.
If there's evil, it's Lisa Hostetter. I hope that she totally rots at hell.
How can you go from a very, very good person to a very, very evil person? Is love so extreme that you would go to that depth? Maybe she was just that in love with Gary. I don't know.